Hello, guys and girls. This is Wager Detective here. We're going to get into this cap right now between the Mariners and Rangers. This is for the July 27th game. It's going to be a day game. This is an impromptu cap just to give you an idea how Wager Detective is a game. And this is the game we're going to go with the Mariners versus the Rangers, and just going over some stats and things of that nature to kind of come up with a conclusion on who we think is going to win the game and take it from there. Mariners, they're looking pretty good right now, up 5-3, bottom of the seventh currently versus the Rangers. Pretty interesting there. Something to keep in mind. The Mariners 21 and 31 on the road this year, and if you look at what they're doing in a way that we're going to look at how to cap this game is a day game after, semi-day game. But the Mariners this year, they are versus the West. They're 7-10. They've been playing pretty good baseball over their last 9 games. They're 4-5. Their run differential is even, and they're scoring about 4 runs a game. We're not including today's matchup of the game they're in right now, but if we look at what they're doing in road day games versus the road versus the West, they are 7-10 in those games. 6 over, 10 under, and 1 push. But they're 13 in they're plus 13 in the run differential, even though they're 7-10 in those games. 7 losses of those 10 losses were by 1 run. So that is something you want to keep in mind there. They are scoring 4.11 runs per game to 3.35 in road games versus the West this year. They swept at Texas, and they swept the A's in Oakland in those games. So this is just a little introductory on how we detect the cap games, and I'll get better as I go. We look at the Mariners. I mean, they got a lot of talent on this team. Randy Rosarina wasn't in the lineup today, but you got J-Rod, you got Translane, you got Miller, you got Cal Raleigh, who isn't necessarily having the best year this year compared to last year, but he's still a threat in that lineup. And again, the Mariners playing well overall. They are 3 games below 500, and they are 21 and 31 on the road this year, so that's something to keep in mind there. And they're currently up in this game. And I kind of expected the Mariners to finally wake up. On the mound for the Mariners is going to be George Kirby, and he is 3-2 in his last 5 starts. Scoring when he starts in his last 5, the Mariners are scoring 4 runs a game to 2.2 for their opponents. In his last 5 starts, Kirby does have 32 innings pitched with a 2.25 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP. The thing that stands out to me about Kirby is he doesn't throw a lot of he hasn't given up a lot of home runs on the year. That's something to keep in mind against the Rangers team. It does have Jake Berger, who has 18 home runs and 64 RBIs, and a guy like Josh Peterson, who has 17 home runs on the year. You're going against a pitcher that doesn't give up a lot of home runs. And if we look at what the Mariners have done this year when Kirby has started, they are 10-9, and they're plus 1 run differential in that department. When Kirby starts this year, they are scoring 3.63 runs per game, and they're giving up 3.57. What's going on, Arlen Blackman? Appreciate you, buddy, for stopping on in. Thank you so much, buddy. Wager Detective trying to get used to going live, and another impromptu video. I kind of like this. I feel as I go, I'll get a little bit better and a little more comfortable in what I'm doing. So the Mariners, again, 10-9 when Kirby starts this year. When Kirby starts this year, he does have a 3.57 ERA on the year, and he's only given up 11 home runs, and he's only given up 25 walks and 116 innings pitched. So, Ellis Grass, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. This is the Wager Detective live chat. We're going over the Mariners versus Rangers day game tomorrow, getting an early start on the cap. So again, in his last 5 starts for the Mariners are 3-2. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 2.2 for their opponents, and he has a 2.25 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP in his last 5 starts. If we look at what the Mariners have done on the road when Kirby starts this year, they are 4-4 and -7 run differential. They're scoring 2.25 runs a game to 3.12 for their opponents. In his 8 road starts this year, he does have a 3.14 ERA and a 1.42 WHIP. So what that tells me about the Mariners is they don't necessarily hit for him when he pitches on the road. but they are 4-4, and 1 over, 6 under, and 1 push to that number 8 that line is set at tomorrow. The Mariners are a -132 in that game to the Rangers plus 112. This is going to be his third time on 6 days rest, and when he pitches on 6 days rest, he is 0-2 this year, -7 run differential. The ERA does balloon for Kirby to a 4.5 and a 1.5 whip. In his last outing, Kirby, 6 innings pitched with no earned runs and 1 walk versus the Reds. That doesn't really something that stands out to me. The Reds are really not a team that I trust. I do love Sal Stewart. I do love Ellie De La Cruz. I mean, they got some guys over there that aren't bad, but I think the Rangers, all in all, have a better lineup than the Reds. So that's that side of the cap. When we look at the Mariners, they're playing good. They're up currently right now versus the Rangers. They're winning that game. Can they roll that into tomorrow's game? And as we said, the Mariners road games versus the West, they are 7-10. That's not including today's game, and they are scoring 4.11 runs per game in road games versus the West. So let's take a look at the Rangers side of this cap. Okay, they're 4-4 to start the second half, and they're 19-10 in one-run games. If this is a close game, it's clearly in favor of the Rangers, whereas the Mariners are 14-17 in one-run games. So we look at what the Rangers are doing. In home games versus the West this year, they are 11-7. They swept the Mariners, 7 over, 1 under in their last 8 home games versus the West. So, with that game sitting on 8, I would kind of lean towards the over because I'm seeing a lot of numbers that are looking like they're landing on that 8. If we look at what they're doing, the Rangers are doing in home games versus the West this year, they are scoring 4 runs a game to 4.72 for their opponent, and they are 6-2 versus the Mariners this year, 30-20 run differential there. And if you look at that, not counting today's game, the Mariners are not playing the Rangers too good this year, And if the Mariners can win this game, they're going to find a way to get a little bit of momentum and a little bit of confidence in what they're doing. And I believe with Kirby on the mound, it gives them a really solid chance to win this game. You really don't like laying the chalk of a -132, but I think the Mariners, I noticed that Randy Arozarena didn't play today. I did a little research. I think they just sat him today. I would imagine he plays tomorrow. So when we look at the Rangers, they are 5-4 in their last 9. That is not counting today's game. And when you look at that in their last 9, before today's game, 5-4, -7 run differential. They're scoring runs, but they're giving up runs as well. They're scoring 5.11 runs per game in their last 9, giving up 5.88. And when we look at that, we say to ourselves, well, they're scoring a lot of runs, but they're giving up a lot. Supersonic, I've gotten that quite a bit in my life. Yes, when I used to live in New York, I used to work at this place called, as a waiter, called, actually a couple restaurants, 5 Napkin Burger, and I also worked at another place called Jekyll and Hyde. And when I worked at Jekyll and Hyde, I used to have to wear this top hat. It was like an old-time setting. It was like a scary, fun house to go and eat. And I always got that quite a bit, the Tony Stark thing. Thank you for stopping by. This is the Wager Detective Report for tomorrow's game, Mariners versus Rangers. And, we're looking at both these teams and seeing what they're doing recently. Now, Kumar Rocker is going to be on the mound for the Rangers tomorrow. And if we look at his last 5, the Rangers are 3-2 plus 3 run differential. They're scoring 4.6 runs a game to 4 runs for their opponent in Rocker's last 5 starts. In Rocker's last 5 starts, he does have a 4 ERA, a 1.07 whip, but he is giving up a concerning 1.33 home runs per 9. He has given up 5 home runs in his last 5 outings. That could be dangerous against a team with Canzone, Rodriguez, and Cal Raleigh in that lineup. And Rosarina, again, 27th in the Major League Baseball in batting average with a 280. So when we look at what they're doing, last 5 looking good. 3-2 plus 3 run differential when Rocker starts. Now, if we look at what the Rangers have done when Rocker has started this year, they are 7-10. minus 23 run differential. This is where the cap comes back to that Mariners, right? In his starts this year, he does, there is being scored 8.52 runs per game. But again, 7-10 in his starts this year, minus 23 run differential, 9 over and 8 under in those 17 games started by Kumar Rocker this year. When he starts at home this year, the Rangers are 5-7, okay, but they're minus 20 run differential. The run differential is a very key thing to look at and keep in mind when you're talking about capping a game. And when Rocker starts, at home, they're just not scoring enough. They're giving up 5.08 runs a game to their opponents, and not really a situation you want to be in. Now, when we look at what Rocker does on 5 days rest, he's 4-5. The Rangers are 4-5. Minus 18 run differential. So they're losing by an average of about 2 runs a game in those games. So 3 over, 5 under, and 1 push in those games where Rocker starts on. Hey, Prototype, thank you for stopping by, buddy. Just a little impromptu live cap for this Mariners versus Rangers game. Just trying to get my feet wet with this live stuff. It's not all that easy, and I see why I give so much credit to these guys that do it, that I admire so much. Guys, if I'm looking at this game for tomorrow, I know the talk seems like a little bit too much, but I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say, unless anything else changes, I do like the Mariners to win this game on the money line minus 132. And I think if the Mariners do win, I think they can cover that run line as well. And I think the game goes over 8. It is set at 8. If it lands on 8, you still don't lose, you can push. But I will say, I think it does at least get to that. And I think the Mariners are going to do the bulk of the scoring there. So that's my call here. An impromptu cap for Wager Detective Mariners versus Rangers. Wager Detective calling the Mariners minus 132 for that July 2017. And I like the over as well for the game to go over 8. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on YouTube. Subscribe on Twitter. And I'll be up with more Wager Detective reports on these games going forward. If you want to look out for live streams from Wager Detective. Okay, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get better with this as I go. This was just an impromptu cap, and I'll get better as I go, guys. I mean, when we look at the bullpens for both these teams, I think they're very, very evenly matched. I think Seattle's a little bit better. They got the 12th, 5th best bullpen in baseball, led by Munoz and Eduardo Bazardo. And then on Texas side, they got the guy that's got the 10th most saves in Major League Baseball, Jacob Latz. And Tyler Alexander, not a slouch either, with a 2.82 ERA in 44 innings pitched. So both these teams have good bullpens. I think if it gets late, it could spell trouble for that over. I think you might want to look at a first 5 over in this game. First 5 money line for the Mariners. Mariners full game. And the game to get to at least 8. And I think if the Mariners win, I think they're going to cover that run line, because again, they're not good in one-run games. They're 14-17, whereas like we said, the Rangers boast a 19-10 record in one-run games. So I think the Mariners, for them to win and to get value in this game, would be to take the Mariners first 5, Mariners minus 1.5, and Mariners money line minus 132. I don't like giving out chalk. I like giving away value, but that is my my take on the game. I may or may not be doing another live on other MLB games tomorrow, but go check out the Wager Detective travel report on Twitter that I posted earlier about teams that are going to be traveling to different cities. One that stands out is going to be Boston going to Oakland tomorrow after their game today in their home series against Toronto. Now they got to fly 2 different time zones, and they're going to be in Oakland tomorrow. Will that matter? I don't know just yet. Trying to look at some other travel spots for teams. Florida is going, the Phillies are going to the Marlins. Not really a big travel spot, but when you're flying down the coast like that, it could be an interesting take on what that might hold for those teams. So, you want to look at that, and travel is very important in a lot of these games. And the Phillies, another thing about that travel spot tomorrow for the Phillies is they're playing in a night game tonight in a high-profile game against the Yankees where they're trying to avoid the sweep. So you're looking at the Marlins that just got swept. They lost 10 in a row and got swept by the Padres today, where they were winning that game. It's going to be interesting to see how this team is going to rebound, because the Phillies do play a little bit better away from home than they do. They play a little bit better on the road than they do at home, and the Marlins are reeling. Another game that stands out. What does Wager Detective have here? You got the Guardians. They're going from Tampa Bay to Cincinnati. They're coming back in-state, and they're a plus 140 dog tomorrow going against the Reds. So that's something to think about there, guys. I know Chase Burns is on the mound. I don't know if I could fade the Reds, but at minus 166, there is value with the Guardians here after getting swept in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay playing hot baseball right now. Diamondbacks are going to be going to the Pirates, so the Diamondbacks were in Washington. They're going to the Pirates. It's not that big of a move. The Orioles are going to the Tigers after playing a series at home. Not a real big travel spot there. The Brewers are going from home, and they're flying out west to the Giants after handling the Colorado Rockies. So when you look at that, the Giants is a plus 106. Does look like a tempting little tidbit. They're starting to hit the ball better. Their bats are coming alive. Brewers are going from Milwaukee, having to fly out west. So interesting travel spot there for them. The Braves are going to the Mets after being in Baltimore. Not a bad travel spot for them. I think the Braves should keep up their winning ways. They're minus 120 right now on the money line, on the look-ahead line. And then the Astros are going to the Angels. So the Astros are going from playing in... Who did the Astros just play? Help me out. I'm doing all this off memory. Astros played they're coming off the White Sox series where they lost today. They got manhandled by the White Sox, and now they got to fly to the Angels that may or may not win this game against the Giants. I believe they were winning last time I checked, but the Angels will be comfortably at home, and the Houston is going to have to fly out to them. And you look at the Astros minus 122. I'm going to be digging into the facts on that game, because I do, even though the Angels aren't a good team, they really do have some bats in that lineup, including Trout, and a couple other guys that I like in that lineup over there. So that could be an interesting one on the menu. Diamondbacks at the Pirates. You're going to get the Pirates at a minus 120 after not having a good series against the Cubs. And I think the Diamondbacks, if they're going to fall, I think this is going to be where they're going to kind of slow up. They lost today versus the Nationals, and now they're, they got to go to Pittsburgh. And to be honest with you, that Pittsburgh Pirates lineup is one of the most underrated teams out there. I really like Reynolds. I like Horowitz. I like O'Hearn. They have got a lot of guys, and I expect them to get back in there. So look ahead. If we're looking at tomorrow's games, I like the Mariners, as I already said in this live chat. I like the Pirates, and I like the Giants. So, guys, we'll leave it at that. I'll cut it at 20 minutes, roughly 20 minutes. Remember to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Share this video and other videos. And, guys, more than anything else, remember this. Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll talk to you soon.